they sent this to me. They're like, I think they just referenced you on Supernatural. And I was like, you're crazy. And then they sent it to me, and this guy was impersonating like a naval officer. He was in uniform, and he said, and I quote, I ship out on the AF Mignogna. Yes?
This is my first anime, and my daughter Karina.
Welcome.
I'm learning.
Well, you know what? There's nothing I love more than seeing parents here with their kids. Nothing I love more. Yeah, and you know what? My mom used to take me to Star Trek conventions when I was a little kid. She hated Star Trek. She hated it. You know what she called it? Star Trash. Oh my gosh. And I almost killed her. I was like Holly's age. I'm like 13. I'm like, Mom! How dare you? Captain Kirk is so cool. Right? I lived for it. And but she did it. The point is, she showed an interest in things that I had a passion for. And to this day, we are very close friends, because when I was growing up, she, you know what I mean, she supported the things that I like. So parents, you're doing a really good thing by being here with your kids, okay?
I'm not sure how you got started into voice acting for a possibly future voice actor.
Oh, yeah. You know what? In fact, I'm sure a lot of people have that question, so let me go ahead and answer it. I got started quite by accident. I mean it. People are like, when did you know, how did you get into voice acting? And I'll say, I really don't know. I have been acting since I was very young. I've been on stage, theater productions, musical theater, church programs, community theater, school productions, anything, everything. And I just loved acting and performing. And about 13 years ago, I was living in Houston, Texas, and I was working on a video production with a friend of mine, and he said, hey, you got a lot of acting experience, don't you? And I said, yeah. And he said, you ought to go and audition for this place called ADV Films. They buy these Japanese animated shows and they dub them into English, and they need actors. And I was like, really? That sounds fun. Never even occurred to me. I mean, I loved, like, goodness gracious, I loved Speed Racer when I was young. Kim of the White Lion, Battle of Planets, right? I didn't even know it was anime. I just thought it was cool. It was weird, you know? It wasn't like Bugs Bunny, you know? It was different stylistically. It sounded different. It looked different. But I really liked it. I had no idea it was anime. I just knew I liked it. So I went and auditioned, and I got cast as Vega in Street Fighter 2. I didn't think anything would ever come of it, because at that time anime was this little teeny tiny fringe thing, you know what I mean? It was like just this little subculture of people that liked it, and it wasn't mainstream. You couldn't really find it anywhere. I didn't even know what they did with this stuff once we recorded it. Do they sell it? You know what I mean? Do they launch it into space? What do they do with it? I didn't care. It was just fun to do. So I finished that show, and I thought, well, that was kind of a fun experience. And then the next thing you know, a few weeks went by, and they called me and they said, hey, we've got this other show. You want to come and be in it? And I'm like, okay, sure. So I went and did that show. And then another one. And then another one. And then another one. And the next thing you know, somebody invites me to an anime convention. And I was like, they have conventions for this stuff? I mean, I know Star Trek conventions, right? From when I was little, but I didn't even know there were anime conventions. So I went to an anime convention, and I was blown away. People had like posters of characters that I played, and little action figures, and wall scrolls, and oh my gosh, pencil boards. I was really overwhelmed. And then finally at a convention, I met some people from Funimation in Dallas, 4 hours north of Houston. And they said, hey, you want to come up and do some work with us? I'm like, sure, okay. So I went up there, and I was in Yu Yu Hakusho, and Dragon Ball Z, and then Spriggan, and Kitty Grey, and Case Closed, and then they got Full Metal Alchemist. And I was there. So I'm working in Houston, working in Dallas. And then, of course, anime is growing all over the place, and it just explodes. And I was blessed, and I use that word deliberately, blessed enough to be in the middle of it when it exploded. I continued to do conventions, continued to work in Houston and Dallas until one day I met some people from Los Angeles. And they said, hey, you should come out and do some stuff with us. I'm like, oh, sure, okay. And I came out to LA and I did, Persona 3 and Disgaea and Soul Calibur and guest roles here and there. And they didn't want to give me any regular recurring roles because I didn't live in LA. So I auditioned for things, but they wouldn't cast me in something recorded every week because I didn't live here. And so finally, after doing 10 or 15 things, they sent me an audition for Bleach. And then they cast me as Ikaku, who of course is a recurring role, because I promised them that I would come back anytime they needed me. So now I'm living in Houston, working in Dallas, working in LA, and then I meet people from New York. And that's where they do Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh! And a handful of other things over there. So I did some work with them. So now I'm doing this whole thing. And then I started dating a girl that lives in Los Angeles. Long distance thing. And then after a while, I'm like, you know what? I really should probably be out there closer. And the more work kept building up in LA, and she and I were getting closer. So I still own my home in Houston, but I live in LA now. And I'm not going to shy away from saying what I'm about to say. I hope it doesn't offend anybody. I'm not trying to wax all religious, but this is who I am, and I'm going to share it. I never intended for any of this to happen. So I am very, very careful to give all the credit to God, because I didn't do this. Okay? I'm not being preachy. I'm not trying to get you to join the church. Don't get all offended. I'm just sharing my heart with you. I always want to make sure and give credit where credit is due. Because you know what? There are a lot of people out there that beat the pavement, and send out demos, and knock on doors, and do everything they can possibly do to get into this business. And the door opened, and I walked through it. That's all that happened. So I give complete credit where credit is due, and I don't want to offend ever, but that is what I believe. That is my feeling in my heart about my life and how I got into this business. So I want to make sure and let everybody know that. Okay? So there's my brother from the vehicle.
Are you always going to trust me with your luggage?
Always. This guy picked me up last night. These guys picked me up last night with Kareem from the airport, and I was like a zombie, wasn't I? I was like, "Hi, where's the car?" And I had my luggage because I've been gone for 2 weeks, so I had a lot of luggage. I've been traveling for 2 weeks, and the car was this rockin' awesome muscle car, but it was not a minivan, so there wasn't a lot of space. So one giant luggage went into the back seat, into the trunk, and the other giant piece of luggage had to go into the back seat. And this poor little guy was getting crushed the whole way back to the hotel. Every time the brother sitting beside him would turn the car, my luggage would go, and he would be like, "I'm getting crushed by Edward Elric's suitcase." Anyway, so yes, what's your question, huh? Oh, that was your question. Am I going to keep crushing you with my suitcase? Anytime you're in the car, I will make sure you get crushed. All right? Yeah.
I missed you at Comic-Con, so can I find out?
Always. Can I grab this water? What Comic-Con? Which one? Where?
2012.
Which Comic-Con?
Oh, San Diego.
Oh, come here.
Yeah.
I love it. I don't know how long this panel was supposed to go because I could talk forever, and there are still 20 cans up, and I would love. And I even brought stuff to show you. I don't even know what to do.
You have half an hour still.
I have half an hour still.
Okay.
Lubrication. That's what it's all about, you guys. Stay hydrated. Stay hydrated.
Don't worry. I'll keep myself hydrated.
You especially, Kakarot, man. All right? Yes, sir.
I was wondering if I could take a picture with you.
Absolutely. I'll tell you what we're going to do. After this is over, I'm going to be signing Dude, you come by, we'll take pictures, I'll hug your face, sign for you. I'll do it. I'm not afraid. What?
How did you get so buff?
Am I buff?
Yeah.
I've been on the entire Capricorn workout. Wait a minute, I gotta tell Todd that. That's funny. Hold on, I'm gonna dictate it. Hold on. Some guy in my panel just asked me how I got so buff. Ellipsis.
Tell me your secret.
Hold on. I told him I'm on the Habercorn workout program. And all that guys.
Yeah.
I don't feel like I am. I see, man, you've been watching the Olympics?
Yeah.
Every once in a while, I mean, like last night I was flying here and I was in the little United Club, you know, watching some Olympics, waiting for my connecting flight. I flew from Chicago to Denver and then Denver to San Jose. So I'm in Denver and I'm watching some of the Olympics and these guys, you know, coming across the finish line. And I'm like, damn! Look at that, look at those, look at that. Man, they're so muscular and so ripped and trim and fit. Like, geez, I'm never taking my shirt off again. How embarrassing. But anyway, those guys are amazing. Yes, you look awesome, by the way. I noticed amazing tattoos. You look great.
Where did you get your Edward Elric phone case?
Okay, I'm glad you asked, because this is pretty awesome, all right? This is my phone case, right? See that? You know why this is special? It's the only one in the world. You know why? Because the creator of Full Metal Alchemist, the mangaka, Hiromu Arakawa, drew this for me. For me, one of a kind. The original is on a pencil board, like, you know, about this big, like an autograph board, full color, looks just like that. And it says, to Vic, Ed, and like she personalized it and sent it over from Tokyo to me. And I scanned it and made a phone case out of it. Now the other cool thing is if you really like it, I'm getting ready to put this phone on eBay. I'm just saying, somebody might want it, right? I'm getting ready to put my old iPhone, that right here, in my pocket, all day long. And I'm going to put this phone case with it on.
Go to my bank right now.
So it's very special. In fact, she even has her little signature in the corner. So I love it.
Sign it.
What?
Sign it and then put it on eBay.
Oh yeah, I will. Oh yeah. Yeah, like what I'll do is I'll probably pop the case off and like sign the case inside or something. Yeah. And I'll personalize it too. So like rather than just go Vic, it'll be like to Holly.
Seriously, go to my
I love you, Holly.
Oh yeah.
I love you, Bella. Yes.
At SAC Anime, I was looking forward to about Supernatural, and I was wondering if you've gotten around to watching it yet.
I haven't. I'm sorry.
The show is beautiful. It's like Full Metal Alchemist-ish.
That's what I've heard. Oh my gosh, wait a minute. Oh my gosh. Did you guys? That's the show. Supernatural. Don't they make anime references sometimes?
Yeah.
How many of you saw the episode? Somebody sent me a clip to an episode where there was some guy who was a guest star. He's that real funny looking guy that's real thin and kind of nerdy looking. He has that real big, you know what I'm talking about? Real big nose, real thin guy. He said, they sent this to me. They're like, I think they just referenced you on Supernatural. And I was like, you're crazy. And then they sent it to me. And this guy was impersonating like a naval officer. He was in uniform. And he said, and I quote, I ship out on the AF Mignogna. And I'm like, okay, nobody names a ship Mignogna. That's really weird. And I didn't believe it until people started telling me that they make little anime references a lot. So I know a couple of actors that work on that show, and I've been meaning to ask them, you know, find out if this was like an accident, or whether it was the Spanish word for tomorrow, or whether it was an anime reference, you know, because of my work in anime. I thought that was really crazy, pretty weird. Yes. Pardon?
What do you know from the cast?
I don't even remember their names. I've done several conventions with different people, and that's how little I don't ever watch the show. So like, is that the one with Dean and?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I've like been at conventions, and I'll be sitting there in the green room having a cup of coffee and talking with them, and then they'll leave, and someone would be like, "You know who that was?" And I'm like, "No." And, that was so and so from Supernatural. Like, oh. So anyway, you know, and I mean, I wouldn't know. So, yes, Peter.